Today, we're going to give you everything you need to know about Kahar the Hidden, a crucial boss that you can summon in the Heroic Anthem KvK. You battle them down and you get some sweet rewards. So let's get started. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, a sponsored content creator for Rise of Kingdoms, and we're bringing you everything you need to know to completely dominate in Heroic Anthem Kingdom vs. Kingdom. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides that help you get value and smash your enemies, consider smashing that subscribe button for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos. These Kahars offer an incredible amount of crystals, and they even have the opportunity to drop a legendary commander sculpture, which, heck yeah, I'm all about that. So we'll give you everything you need to know to defeat these Kahars, and it's pretty straightforward. You're going to send some marches at this thing to knock it down, but there is something that most folks don't know about the Kahar that will change the way you approach this fight, which is very simply that this encounter gets harder and harder and harder the longer it runs. The faster you can defeat this Kahar, the better off you're going to be, and the fight is just going to get exponentially more difficult over time. But first things first, how do you even summon one of these Kahars? You're going to use a bone whistle. These bone whistles are obtained by completing bastion quests. You can see we have a number of quests that offer whistles, like this Spirit of Battle quest from Joan of Arc, that's going to require me to battle in 2 Lost Canyon matches to get a whistle. Here you can see one for destroying barbarian forts, and so on. The Bastion quest we're going to be doing today is actually for defeating a Kahar, so you may not want to use up all of your whistles defeating them for crystals, because there's a non-zero chance you could have one of these quests show up and then you're out of whistles to be able to get it done. I do wonder, however, if they maybe don't give you the quest at all if you don't have any whistles to summon them, but let's go now and knock out this Kahar, which is the thing that you're here to see. Depending on your level of technology, you're going to need anywhere between 1 to all 5 of your marches. If we get a look, by the way, at this, we do see it is a barbarian. This is very important. Commanders that do damage to barbarians deliver extra value for you. So we're going to go, and we're actually going to send hopefully just 1 march to get the job done. Mina double C, it says it's a hard battle. It costs 190 action points to do this. So the less marches you need to get it done, obviously, the better. You're not going to get extra loot for every march that you have that hits this, and we'll show you why that's the case in just a second. I don't yet have any support skills unlocked to be able to assist with this battle, but that will make this much easier as you unlock some of those support skills. So we'll send in the Mina double C. That Mina has a full peacekeeping build, and let's see how this goes. I may need to send a second march. I'm leaning very heavily on the strength of my technology, my crystal research, to try to get this job done without having to send a second march. And we do see that it looks like I'm doing pretty well here, but remember, the damage of the Kahar goes up every second that you're fighting. So the longer that you're fighting this thing, maybe not literally every second, we'll show you the skills on this guy in just a second, but the damage ramps up over time. So you can go from a position of looking like you're going to win to catastrophically losing very, very quickly. This is similar, by the way, when you battle a pass, and you can see we're starting to struggle a little bit now. I actually might need to send a second march. Doing this with 1 march, I think I've got it. I think we've got this. We're in the yellow. They're doing some work here. The skill damage of Mina, double C, I think will carry me. But again, the longer this fight runs, the harder it gets. So you're better off sending maybe 1 more march than you expect as you sort of calibrate exactly what it's going to take you to get the job done. Everything that will work against barbarians will help make this possible. Boom. What you get out of this is a chest, and this is why defeating it with multiple marches doesn't get you more loot, unfortunately. You can see here that we don't have any loot from battling this guy, and if we look in at the troop buffs, we can look now at the active skills. This explains why Kahar is so difficult to battle. Their active skill is 2,000 damage factor, which is a pretty moderate amount of damage. And here it is, Hunter's Mark. Every 5 seconds of combat, all damage dealt is increased 5%, and this effect can stack. So every 5 seconds, this fight gets harder and harder and harder and harder. That is why, for folks are getting wrecked by Kahar all over the place. In addition, each of the Kahar's normal attacks reduces the target's healing effects by 50% for 3 seconds. So you're not going to heal your way out of this. Healing is not the answer. Every normal attack makes it so that you have 50% healing effect reduction. So using a commander like Richard I to try to tank will be not nearly as effective as you might have expected. So now we can go and get a look at the loot. We'll go and pick this up, and it is very important that you pick up the chest. It takes 10 seconds, and you are the only person on the map who can pick up your Kahar's treasure. So we'll grab this now, get a peek at the loot, and 40,500 crystals, 1 green material chest. I'm actually very happy about that. I would trade action points for materials all day, every day. Few other things in here as well, a little bit of resources, an hour of speed ups, and a little bit of experience. That's fine. We can run this march back to town now. And that allowed us to complete this Bastion quest, which we can turn in, claim the reward, and the next Bastion quest is lined up. You may be thinking, Chisgule, should I battle all the Kahars as soon as I get them? And although I think it's certainly worth saving a couple whistles for those Bastion quests, the other thing that I'll call your attention to in your crystal research is that if you make your way into military technology, this is pretty far along. I'm going to be honest, this is pretty far along. But if you get to plunder level 5, you do get 35% more crystals. Normally, you would get 30,000 crystals from a Kahar. I am getting 40,000 crystals, so it is a nice little boost. There is also a plunder level 2 to even further improve the amount of crystals that you get, and this has 10 levels. So you could get theoretically 65%. Honestly, that just feels so far away. Like I've max purchased the crystal bundle, and I've purchased also all the little incremental crystal bundles that show up on the way. And this is where my technology is now, making my way pretty far, at least I think it's pretty far, into the military technology. We're on the level 2 tech for military attack and defense. And we have made some pretty solid investments here in our fundamental technology as well. So my recommendation, depending on how far you're going into this tree, is to go to Skillful Operation 2 or max out Skillful Operation 1. That seems like a great starting point. Eventually, you'll make your way over to Plunder. So if you're debating, again, whether or not you should battle the Kahars now, my recommendation would also be to consider whether or not you're about to battle an opponent, and if you need the extra crystals for some war-related research right before Pass 4 opens or right before Pass 7 opens. And those encounters, certainly in my estimation, are worth having extra tech to make your life easier. So I'll summon one more Kahar to see what additional loot we get before we hang on to the rest of those bone whistles. And one other thing you can do to make the fight a little easier, you see that in this case, he's actually on our Alliance territory. Alliance territory is a huge boost to your effectiveness in combat. If you can take a fight on territory, that certainly will make this a good bit easier. You could theoretically try to drag the Kahar onto territory, but I think that's a bad choice. For every 5 seconds you're in combat, the Kahar is getting tougher and tougher, so you probably have to take the Kahar right where it stands, and you really can see just how much the territory is making a difference here. One way you can make sure that you get that territory bonus is to teleport your city into the middle of territory. I get that that's not optimal for spawning in resource nodes, but sometimes you got to just work with what you've got, you know? So here we are, working on this Kahar behind my city, taking it out back, doing what we need to do to get some loot. I guess if we zoom in, we could see a little more of this fight, I suppose. And we're still getting pretty beat up. I mean, we're in the yellow here, even though we're on territory. So for us, it's achievable with one march. For most players, I do not think that's going to be the case until you've advanced your technology a good bit more. We'll pick up the chest in just a second, see what those goodies are. I guess we could start to put together a listing of, like, on average, what you'd expect to get from a Kahar. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. We cast the Ark of Osiris League matchup on the official channel earlier today, but I also wanted to get out a video with this information about Kahars. I've seen a number of folks leaving behind the crucial reward right over here, the chest left on the map. Be sure to pick that up. You have 6 hours, but why wait? It takes 10 seconds. We got yet another green material crate. I'm actually pretty happy about this loot. I think that for 200 action points, it's kind of expensive, except you get crystals, and crystals turns into KvK rewards. So that's the thing that's really the redeeming value from doing these Kahars, in addition to having those Bastion quests, which will give you favor. In about a day and a half from the time that we've uploaded this video, we'll be battling against the Ruined Crusader Fortress to take that down. We're going to live stream. That'll be around reset on Monday going into Tuesday. So be sure to check that out. And if you're looking for more Heroic Anthem videos, tips, and tricks, I'll have a card up in the top for the playlist we've put together giving you everything you need to know. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.